there is no doubt we will see some funny stuff happening around this election. Will they tell us a water pipe burst and they had to stop counting the votes, but then they don't stop counting and somehow find the votes that make Democrats pull ahead? Will they accept absentee ballots that don't have a proper signature? Or will they tell us that hundreds of thousands of votes came in from Americans living abroad and it pulled Kamala over the finish line by the skin of her teeth? Well, that last one sounds like it's in the works. According to Reuters, the Democrat Party is focusing on getting Americans living abroad to vote for Kamala. But their numbers don't quite add up. According to the Federal Assistance Voting Program, there are approximately 4.4 million Americans living abroad. They also report that only about 2.8 million of them are of voting age. Now, here's where the numbers start to get a little wonky. The Democrats say there are around 9 million voters living abroad, and get this, 1.6 million of them are registered to vote in a swing state. How convenient. This is from a DNC memo. In the last two presidential elections, about 9% of eligible voters living abroad requested ballots. So let's go back to the official numbers. That would be 9% of 2.8 million people. That's 252,000 votes being spread across the country. And there's no reason to assume they'd all be voting for Kamala. But even if most did, this wouldn't likely change anything. But if you look at the DNC's numbers, 9% of the 293,000 voters living abroad who can vote in the state of Georgia equals about 26,000 votes. And that state was only decided by 12,000 votes in 2020. Is this their solution for the swing states this time around? To have thousands of voters flooding the swing states from overseas? Now, their fishy numbers are just part of the issue. The Gateway Pundit has reported on this story, and they have an interesting screenshot taken from an organization's website that helps people register to vote when they don't live in America. When you're registering to vote, it asks you for your social security number or some kind of state identification. But if you don't have those, you can't register to vote, right? Wrong. If you don't have either, check the box that indicates I don't have the above identification. Most states will accept the form without a social security number or state identification card. What in the world are we doing? Who could possibly benefit from a voting system that doesn't assure that all votes are legal? That's a serious question. Who benefits from an election where we don't require the voter to prove that they have the right to vote? And the only answer I can come up with are people who want to cheat. And I'd love to hear an alternative answer to that question, but don't give me the lamest excuse ever, which is, black people are too stupid or ignorant to know how to get an ID. That is absolutely ridiculous, and it's just a cop-out. But if you want to go down that road, let's say Democrat leaders really do believe that. Why in the world would a black person ever vote for them? Have you ever heard of a more racist position to take on a modern-day issue? Or let's say it is in fact true. How would these people who are too dumb or ignorant to figure out how to get an ID figure out how to register to vote, inform themselves on the issues, and then actually vote? They couldn't. And I know I've talked about this before, but if it were true that a significant portion of the black population can't figure out how to go to the DMV and get an ID, the issue wouldn't be about getting these people to vote. It would be about teaching those people basic life skills so they don't stumble through life walking into walls and talking to mannequins in department stores. The mission would be to help those people, not use them for political power. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Elon Musk told a funny story about a friend of his voting in a state where I used to live.
A friend of mine went to vote in Palo Alto in California because he was like, is this real or not? And he like tried to show his ID, and it was like presenting a cross to a vampire. Like they're like, no, put the ID away.
I didn't need an ID to vote when I lived there either. Anyway, early voting looks really good for Republicans right now. And I do believe that if we had a system where everyone who wanted to vote voted on election day, on paper ballots, and had to show ID, we would see a landslide for Trump. But when we have a system that's set up in such a way that counties have to take a week to count their ballots, a system designed to register non-citizens to vote in some places, a system that doesn't require any proof from the voter to cast their vote, a system that allows ballot harvesting, drop boxes, automatic absentee ballots, and so on. As long as we have a system like that, there will always be questions about the legitimacy of the outcomes. Like Trump says, let's make it too big to rig, because there will definitely be some funny stuff happening around this election. And that's the simple truth. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you all want to support this channel, check out the links in the description, and let's keep putting some common sense back into the great debate.